Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the VAR You Serious podcast with Mike and Dylan. Dad, how are you doing this week? Good to see you.
Good. It's very weird to hear you call me Mike. Uh,
No, have to
it
do
is,
both. Have to double it up, right?
yeah. Can father or sir would be more preferred. But,
Yeah, there you go.
good. A lot to talk about this week. A lot of soccer going on as always. We're not going to really talk about it in depth, but are you kidding me? Sean Dice just got fired like a half an hour ago. What the hell? That's going to be the now the fourth manager of the season. Like, I can barely keep up. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think managers, everyone's getting nervous. Thomas Frank fired earlier today as well. Everything's out of whack. Teams at the bottom are getting scared, but we'll see how it all works out for him, Dad. To your point there, I think you have to take the gamble now with 12 games left, so people are taking it, right?
To me, it seems like really bad gambles at this point. I don't, who are they going to find at this point better than Sean Dyche? He's used to these kinds of battles. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, it's I guess it's now or never, but should make the end of the season, more exciting, especially towards the bottom half of the table, which we haven't had in a while. So I'm excited for that personally, just from a neutral perspective. I know those clubs probably are not excited for the tense few weeks ahead.
No, probably not.
Anyways, Dad, like you said, we got an action-packed episode. One big thing is always, then our underdogs of the week, then on to our VAR You Serious moment of the week, and then lastly, our parting shots as always. So, Dad, getting right into it. Huge news coming out within the last day or so. I think people kind of forgot it was still lingering in the background, but Real Madrid and UEFA finally essentially settled somehow um, of the Super League ending. The Super League is finally no more. There's no clubs backing it or working on it in the background. I believe the last two clubs really doing anything on it were probably Barcelona and Real Madrid, according to reports, mainly
Yep.
Real Madrid.
Yep.
But Dad, this has been dragging on for years, and I think it's a really big statement of unity from UEFA and Madrid here to kind of back out, or is it just all about money? Probably.
Well, I would definitely think it's about money. That's always the number one. Sorry to be so jaded, but that's what I think. Like I'm happy it's finally gone. I mean, it's basically been gone, but officially fully gone. And I'm not. Like, I understood why fans were protesting, why they didn't like the idea and so on, but I gotta be honest, like, and I know Champions League kinda covers it, but it would be kind of fun to see a Super League, even if they did it maybe for 1 season, right?
Yeah.
Throw the Bayerns, throw the Barcelonas, throw all this usual customers into a 20-team Super League, and for 1 season, let them play each other home and away. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, as an ongoing thing, as a way to shove smaller clubs out and take more of the financial pie, I don't like that, but I do see some of the reasons why it may have worked.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think seeing the biggest teams play was exciting. I'm sure UEFA now argued, hey, FIFA really got the Club World Cup going, where you're getting teams from all over the world in a tournament format to decide who the best team is over the summer. It's another opportunity for clubs to make money in different markets, bigger media markets like the United States. So I think it all started to come together because of all these added competitions, which we've been critical of, but it was all an opportunity for them to kind of move on. And I think the funniest part of your dad is the article that I have pulled up for our research here is they negotiated exits with UEFA, which it's like, I mean, I think I briefly remember some of the other 12 clubs negotiating exits,
Right.
but to our point, I think it was all just about money at the end of the day and how the money is getting dispersed through these competitions.
100%. And I get it. I think it's probably something that will rear its, I don't know about ugly head again in the future, some kind of breakaway league. That's my sense. I don't think these owners are suddenly going to be less greedy.
Yeah.
What it looks like, the next idea, I don't know, but, yes, give it 3 more years, and I guarantee some form of this will come back, and I think the next time it will be done. I think it will go through.
Yeah, I think there's always the future. You never know what's going to happen. And hindsight also is 2020, knowing this wasn't going to happen, right? Like we can always say that. But I think it is interesting. A 2023 European Court of Justice did rule that UEFA and FIFA were acting monopolistic, which actually gave a major boost to the teams that stuck around, which were Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus. It kind of gave them the backing to be like, okay, well, there is legs here for us to say there's no reason we can't create our own league,
Yeah.
right? Like it's an antitrust thing. But to what we were just saying, the commercial and public pressure was outrageous, right? And I mean, Dad, we wouldn't have one of our favorite segments, Underdog of the Week, if this came about, right? But maybe once every 10 years is a fun idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd always find underdogs. There's always underdogs out there, right, around the world. But I hear what you're saying. The reality is people are going to get tired. They are tired of the same teams always winning these European leagues. And yeah, you get a little battle here and there from other teams, but realistically, it just is not going to work long term. And these other clubs, the bigger clubs, they are not going to want to share the spoils as much as they can. They're going to want more and more and more. And so
Absolutely.
it's going to come back. Celebrate for now, I guess, especially if you're a smaller club. But I don't know. I just think it'd be better if some of these other, if it would be more competitive in some of these leagues if you didn't have the Bayerns, the Arsenals, the Man Cities, the Barcelonas. Other teams would really have a genuine shot to win their league. And I would think people would want that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always going to be a topic of conversation, though, and an argument to your point. Everyone wants something different, but it's what option's going to make the most money at the end of the day. And right now it's for who controls it and is it going to make them money, right? And that's why FIFA and UEFA got to this point with Real Madrid and Barcelona and said, listen, you guys are going to get paid. We're going to get paid. This all works out. Let's put this to bed. And I think the new Champions League format, in addition to the Club World Cup, definitely alleviated things. It worked towards what Barcelona and Real Madrid wanted: more games, out of market games, more money. I think that's what it comes down to.
Right. I know these big teams are excited to play Kairat Almaty, right? I mean, that's what you
Yeah.
want to see in the Champions League, right? So, I mean, there's still shortcomings. Yes, it's an improvement. And I guarantee you, when this idea comes up again, and it will, UEFA and FIFA are already involved in whatever it's going to be. That is probably what the negotiations were this time is, hey, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's let this die down a little bit. And then we're all going to come out in 3 or 4 years with a new idea that we're all behind. I can't wait to see the documentary that talks about the behind closed door meetings that have happened over the last year or two about this. I guarantee that something like that has been discussed.
Yeah. I mean, it has to, right? Like, there's no way. Stuff always comes out. It never stays behind closed doors. Maybe it's meant to come out, maybe it's not, but
Yeah.
it will come out. And Dad, I just want to say, for every Kairat, you know, UEFA also is giving extra Champions League spots to the most high performing leagues as well, right? So that means another Premier League team, probably again this season, 5 instead of 4, probably another Spanish or Serie A team. And, so you are still getting more of the big name teams in the competition, which will drive the revenue, right? And then to your point, everyone loves a Cinderella story. Yeah, throw in Kairat, throw in Club Brugge, throw in these little teams and give them the chance, right? It creates the storylines, I think, for the media, and it provides the balance they want. It doesn't upset everyone because everyone has a chance, or the illusion of a chance, I guess is the best way to put it, right?
Pretty much. Pretty
But
much.
hey, we will see where it actually ends up going. I think it's really interesting that they finally pulled out. But Dad, to your point, What we don't want to lose is our underdogs of the week, and that is what we are on to now. So, who is your underdog this week? Plenty to choose from.
I think it's a pretty big underdog. Burnley and Palace. Burnley is my underdog of the week, and I understand that Palace is in like 14th place, but Burnley are so far down at 20th, and there's so much distance between them that anytime Burnley wins, it's a big deal. They won on the road on Palace's home turf,
Yeah.
and they scored 3 goals in 7 minutes. That's about as good as it's gonna get for Burnley this season. This has to be
Yeah.
the match of the season for them. Kind of a bummer that the Burnley fans couldn't see it at home, but I'm sure some of them were there and others watched it on television, and so I think this is fantastic. Like, Burnley have not given up. They're the clear underdog of the Premier League this season by far, and what they're telling teams is, "Listen, we know we're in huge trouble, but we are not gonna give up, so don't take us for granted." So, Burnley, good on you. They are my underdog of the week.
I love it. And yeah, they're to your point, Dad, they're narrowing that gap again. I mean, they're still 6 points behind West Ham, but it still consolidates things and makes the table even closer like it has been all season, which I think is what we as fans want. So yeah, kudos to Burnley on that one, Dad. Super fun. I had a few options to choose from here. I have to talk about them though, because I think their manager is going to get poached sooner rather than later. Como, who we've talked about on the podcast before, knocked Napoli out of the Coppa Italia 8-7 on penalties, 1-1 in the actual game. Such an exciting result for them. It'll be
Yeah.
their first semifinal appearance in the competition in 40 years.
Wow.
So they have not seen anything like this. Their fans have not seen anything like this. And we've talked about Como. It's such a fun club, right? I mean, I know it's a lot of money backing it and, there's a lot of people invested into it, but they do it the right way. They lean into the community of Como. They give back to Como and they put an exciting product out there for their fans. I mean, Cesc Fabregas has this team playing unbelievable football. Nico Paz is going to be a star for Real Madrid whenever he goes back there, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
my point being here, like I said at the beginning, Cesc Fabregas, with all these managerial firings, is going to get a big job very soon. I mean, he is taking Como potentially in Serie A to a Champions League spot, which is unprecedented, even with their backing that they may be getting. So, yeah, shout out to Como for a huge match, and maybe they'll go on to win the whole thing. That would be amazing to see.
Well, if Michael Carrick can get a shot with Man U, in theory, only a caretaker manager, there's no reason Fabregas should not get a shot in the Premier League. Absolutely not. He should get one.
I mean, he should be in contention for that United job at the end of the season. I think they'd be silly from a sporting perspective not to look at him. As for a lot of other teams, I mean, I don't know what Tottenham's going to do. They should be looking. Teams should be clamoring over the opportunity. So we'll see what ends up happening. But Dad, great underdogs this week, Burnley and Como stepping up. But now we are on to the VAR You Serious moment of the week. And
Okay.
this week, we actually have a VAR moment that I think is pretty influential in the Premier League title race. Now, what I do want to say, Manchester City did win 3-0 today. Let's put that out there.
Yep.
They destroyed Fulham from top to bottom, start to finish. It was a no contest game. However, this challenge, I'm going to get it on the screen here, of Phil Foden on Calvin Bassey. I'm sorry, Dad, I sent it to you and you watched it, right? I mean, in my personal opinion, any other team, that's a straight red card. I don't care if he slipped. I don't care if he was going for the ball. I mean, Phil Foden's foot was up and halfway up Calvin Bassey's leg into him late. I mean, can you see any reason why this wasn't called?
I mean, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories and about referees and trying to help Man City and keeping the title race close and all that. I don't know why, but if you watch it, it's pretty hardcore. It's ugly. And I don't think of Foden really as a dirty player typically, so I don't think it was malicious. And yeah, in a three, I mean, I don't know what the score was at the time, but I didn't City score 3 goals in the first half? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. The game was kind of done and dusted. Now, let's look back to their earlier fixture this year, though. Fulham almost came back from, I believe, 5-0 down, and the game finished 5-4.
mhm,
They almost drew that game being 5-0 down. Now, it was at home, much different situation, but Dad, this challenge happened in the 5th minute of the game. Foden gets sent off here, all hell breaks loose. You never know. I mean, it's a man down situation. Fulham have
yeah.
some exciting attacking players, right?
Yeah, so yeah, it was 3-0 when it happened, and so that's why I just don't think it was malicious. I don't know if careless is the right word either, something in between that, but it seemed pretty clear that it should have been a straight red, and I don't think it necessarily would have impacted the final score in this match, but Foden would have at least missed the next match, and I'm not sure who City are playing in the next match, but Foden has already kind of struggled a bit and been a little bit out of favor, which may have led to what he did today. But for him to have then gotten a red card and had to miss the next match, for City to win the title, I know they're hitting on all cylinders right now, or certainly feels like it, but they need Phil Foden to play well, and he hasn't been. And so, once again, I don't think it's conspiracy. You know, the League was trying to keep Foden on the field for the next match, but it would have had a pretty big impact. And so I don't know what the refs were thinking. I don't know what the VAR official was thinking. Clearly, they saw something different than, most of the social media world.
I mean, absolutely right. And this always goes to the social media refs. Everyone thinks they know the rules, thinks they're in the moment, know what the refs are talking about. Totally fair. I want to respect refs and the job they do. It's hard to make decisions that quickly. I just want to say we look back to this past weekend of Sabazlai getting sent off in a very weird circumstance where City ended up scoring, but then they retracted the goal to send Sabazlai off, who's now suspended for 3 games, which could impact Liverpool significantly in their chase for top 4. Like, they went all the way back and did that in that game. But in this game where it seems pretty clear and VAR confirmed the foul was reckless, but still didn't give the red card, just sends up warning signs to me of, okay, if the foul's reckless, how's it not a red card and only a yellow? Because usually when we say reckless, that means red,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't know too many yellow cards that are reckless. So, I'm sure this will be discussed for a few days at least. It doesn't make sense. Once again, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. I think refs, VAR officials, as we talk about, they miss things all too often. This one seems a little harder to understand how they missed because it looked, I mean, the reaction by the Fulham player was like, you could tell he was in serious pain. Like that had to hurt like hell. So, and you can tell when soccer players are faking it and when they're really hurt. He looked really hurt. So that should have been kind of all the proof that they needed that this was reckless. This was dangerous. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. What's done is done. I'm going straight red on this because they didn't go straight red. I mean,
totally.
obviously they gave a yellow card, so we can't give a yellow card. That means we agree. I don't agree. And
Yes.
so I feel very comfortable about giving a straight red on this particular situation.
Yeah, this week I have to agree with you too, Dad. It's got to be a straight red. I'll even throw up a still image. I don't like the still image. I think the video is better to convey the whole message, but
Sure.
Foden plants his entire foot on the Achilles of Calvin Bassey, and the ball is about 4 feet away from Foden. I mean, it's late and reckless and needless. Like, why was Foden making that challenge? I mean, Bassey is a center back. Bassey is probably near the midway line at this point. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just so tough. But yeah, it's a red card. I think, you know, we can't go back and change anything now, but could have big implications for Manchester City and Phil Foden going forward. So we'll see how it affects them in the title race, correct?
Yeah, we can keep an eye on things. Perhaps there's a call that eventually goes against City that shouldn't have gone against City. Like these things tend to even out for the most part over the course of a season.
Yeah.
So, what, 12 matches to go, plenty of time for things to kind of go in different directions and even out.
Yeah, and I mean, we just talked about last episode, Pep and Rodri complaining about referees. So maybe this is maybe call it a little bit of goodwill going back the other way for them publicly stating that. Hopefully that's not the case, but like you said, ebbs and flows throughout the season for sure. Glad we got to the bottom of that. Red card from both of us if we were on the field there. But anyways,
Easy.
Dad, yes, we are on to the final step of the episode here already. We are just firing our way through, and we are on to parting shots this week. We got some fun, interesting questions here, and I think I'm going first, Dad. So the Japanese league is removing draws. Do you think this is innovation or an unnecessary gimmick to get eyeballs?
Right. So my understanding is that you get 3 points if you win in regulation, 2 points if you win the shootout, if it comes in at a draw at the end of regulation. And then the other team still gets a point because it was originally a draw.
It's like hockey.
What's that?
It's like hockey rules, essentially.
Yeah, basically. I'm fine with it. I think is it a gimmick? Probably. People enjoy shootouts. I think I don't know if the Japanese league, the J League, has a ton of draws more than average, but I think any way to draw additional attention, bring in more fans, I don't think it's going to have a massive impact, but yeah, what the hell? Why not? I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with you there. I think the game has to innovate at some point, right? To keep things exciting. So
Yeah, and leagues like the J League, the A League, MLS, whatever, I feel like they still need some kind of gimmicks. The Premier League sure doesn't. La Liga doesn't. The Bundesliga, like those leagues don't need gimmicks. They've got big fan bases. So for the J League, sure, go for it.
I think MLS needs to go back to the hockey style penalty kicks that it used to do, though, where the guys were dribbling from the halfway line and the goalie could come out. I think that was fantastic. Would be great to see that again. Because why not? I think MLS has to accept the Americanness of the league.
Absolutely. All
So,
right. Next question is for you.
all right.
Is Antoine Semenyo the signing of January? 7 goal contributions in 8 matches for City.
Oh, I mean, it looks like it right now, doesn't it? I mean, 7 goals and assists in 8 games is about as good as you can get for a guy that came in 2 months ago, maximum now, like a month ago, right? Like he has been tearing it up for them. I'm pretty disappointed at this rate that Arsenal didn't go for him because I think he's going to have a big impact for City for a long time after just this season. So I'd say Antoine Semenyo is the signing of January, maybe even potentially going to be the signing of the season. Too early to call, though.
A bit early to call. Arsenal's in a little trouble. Kai Havertz appears to be out. We had a little roll going with him and Gyökeres. Saka's out. Mourinho's out. Like, we didn't do any signings. Like, City, this is a great signing and it's paid off already. We'll see. This could really make the difference for City.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to watch it and monitor it. Hopefully, it doesn't go too bad for Arsenal, but you never know. Anyways, we are on to a weird one, Dad. Wayne Rooney calling out United Strand, the guy with the big hair who hasn't cut his hair still. I think this was ridiculous, but Dad, what do you think here?
Wayne, what are you doing, dude? Like, seriously, don't even pay attention. Stop. I understand that, United fans are frustrated. The team is frustrated, but are they? Like, they've just won 4 in a row and then drew a game. Like, they're playing fantastically well. Ignore the dude with the big hair and be happy that your team has come together and Carrick has given them a new manager boost. That's all you should care about. The guy with the hair, don't even give him any more attention.
I was gonna say the same, Dad. I mean, you have a caretaker manager on a five game unbeaten run. For a club legend to care this much about some dude making a buck because he's not cutting his hair because United aren't winning 5 games in a row. I mean, talk about lack of professionalism. And I think it just states where Manchester United are right now as a club. I mean, you would have never seen this when they were under Sir Alex Ferguson, anyone caring about a journalist or a pundit or anything.
No, absolutely not. They would have just went right by it without a care. And that's exactly what they should be doing from now on.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Hey, go
Next
ahead.
question. Will Spurs actually get dragged into a relegation fight?
Yeah. I mean, they were, let's see, 30 seconds away from being only 3 points ahead of Forest and West Ham, who's in the relegation zone. I mean, that's about as close as you can get to being in a relegation fight and sacking the manager, not having a real clear backup plan right away. Spurs genuinely could go down. I don't think it's going to happen, but they're getting pulled into a relegation fight 100% till the end of the year.
Oh, man. Is that wishful thinking as an Arsenal fan, or is that what you actually think?
No, I absolutely think unbiased, they're getting pulled into it. I mean, half the team is injured. Like, let's bring that up real quick.
Yes.
Their brightest spark on the wing recently, Wilson Odobert, just tore his ACL in the last game. Also, like, I mean, the team is in the trenches. As an Arsenal fan, I think it's hilarious and I love it. Anyways, from an unbiased perspective, as a fan and someone who respects the game, it is brutal. I mean, nothing has gone right for them this season. Managerially, squad wise, the whole 9 yards. They're in a relegation fight, 100%.
All right. We shall see.
But speaking of injuries, Dad, will injuries cost Arsenal the Premier League title this year? You mentioned Havertz, Marino, Saka. Guys are picking them up now as we're in the second half of the season.
I'm fearful they will, because we didn't pick anybody up in January, because we're getting these injuries stacking up now. I looked it up. I think we have the third most injury, minutes missed, or however they count it. Number of injuries. We're tied for the top. City made those two great signings of Semenyo and Gehi. I think these injuries are really going to cost Arsenal dearly. I really do.
Well, and Dad, I think to your point, City, who's a direct competitor again, nullified their injury problems. They went and spent and did what they had to do and got Premier League proven talent in to make the difference right now. Arsenal didn't do that, and it could come back to haunt them. And I think go to a guy like Norgard, who was Brentford's captain last year. Arsenal are going to have to start relying on him more. I mean, that's a Premier League proven player. I know he's older, but you're going to have to rely on him with Marino out and some of these guys out. So we'll see how Arteta continues to manage the squad, but it's going to get interesting for sure.
Well, hopefully Saka's back in a couple weeks. Hopefully Havertz is only going to miss 3 or 4 matches. If that's the case, they should be fine. Their schedule is reasonable over that time period. So we'll see. But let's move on to our last parting shot of the week. Will Pochettino leave the U.S. men's national team before the World Cup to return to Spurs?
I'm going to say no, just because I think the U.S. men's national team probably has a ridiculously high buyout on his contract. Maybe not even able to be negotiated with Pochettino. I think he's only been around for a year. At max, probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I see it very unlikely that he leaves an opportunity to coach in the World Cup to go back to a Spurs squad that might that it's in a relegation fight. Like, I just don't see it. And I see Spurs new ownership going in a different direction. So we'll see. Maybe next season, if they get more of a caretaker in for now, and then they have an opportunity next year to hire someone new, maybe. But I think Spurs need a whole lot more than to go back to their ex girlfriend boyfriend situation, right?
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's far more likely to go to a place like Man U this summer. Let Michael Carrick finish the season. Unless Carrick just takes them on an amazing run where you kinda have no, choice but to keep Carrick on, I think they quietly negotiate a deal with Pochettino to take over after the World Cup. I just don't see him going to Spurs. I really don't.
Yeah, let's hope not. I think for the US men's national team's sake, I wanna keep him around because he's actually built something for us, so,
Yeah, I
we'll s
mean, at least through the World Cup. I don't think Pochettino's gonna stick around till World Cup 2030, but he better stay till at least the end of the World Cup, because he will be persona non grata in the US if he were to leave at any point prior
yeah.
to the World Cup.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, I hope we get in my boy Matarazzo from Real Sociedad if Pochettino leaves because he's still 9 games unbeaten since he started with Real Sociedad. So that's next up for me, I think, if we lose Pochettino.
All in good time, my friend.
Yes, we got to live in the present, enjoy where we're at right now. And Dad, I know one thing I enjoyed this episode. So thank you guys so much. And Dad, what do they need to go do right now?
They gotta do all that subscribing and liking and all the things, commenting, whatever. Tell a friend about us, please.
We're loving the engagement, guys. Keep it up. Tell us if you want us to talk about anything more. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.